Welcome, everybody, to Generation Dan, the only podcast where the millennial is killing the podcast. Wait, that doesn't make sense. If anything, we're the only thing profiting up. My name is Atlas Novack. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
Oh, I'm Dino, the genetic marvel, and I apparently hate everything. That is my deal, and I'm okay with it. And our guest today is the infamous, the fantastic Mr. Caleb McDuff. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm happy to be back talking about old guy shit. Although it seems we kind of want to talk about some young guy shit today, which means that I can actually like kind of articulate and relate to you like on a human level, which makes me feel better.
I feel like
Do we still have the clip?
Ooh, that's a great question. Okay, hold on. First, Jim Eaton, good morning to you, Ter. And he sent us money, which gets us a fancy little poster.
Wow.
Here. You get a little atlas. Fancy atlas for your treat, okay, sir?
Teddy Roosevelt, that was the costume.
Listen, I don't have it. I'll be honest with you. I've lost so much because we transitioned to another friend started using. We moved from one producer to a different producer, and now I lost a whole bunch of stuff. But trust me, I do search for it because it is, yeah, it was a great clip. But yeah, no, it's this is the thing is so we're talking about things. What is it? The things that generations ruined, or how are we?
No. Specifically, like how the media tends to dunk on whoever the young people are.
Yeah.
At any particular time. So you might have seen the discourse about like the Gen Z stare. That's not new. And all the stuff where it's like you remember the millennials are killing this, blah blah blah. We're going to talk about a few of those today. We could do all of them, but we would be here until the sun explodes. So I picked 3 for the millennials, and then for the Gen Z, I got the one about the stare, and then 2 others. Dino, you were supposed to get some for Gen X, which might be hard.
Well, so Gen X, like Gen X has the benefit of being the prime time for like the internet started, and they're like, oh, this is great, and then ruined it clearly. Right. And now things are trying to fix it. But it's like essentially like even Gen X was the first generation to experience higher tuition costs. So student loans started to become a thing. What was the other one? Music festivals.
Only generation to buy property, which is fucking awesome, dude. Like, look at us young guys. Like, I don't think that's a thing that we can ever get to really experience on a Gen X level is owning property. So that's really awesome.
It is. And like, for me, I remember buying property and I was like, yeah, I was in my 20s. I'm like, yeah, I'm good to go. Right. Let's do this. And then like, I had bought more property when I was in my 30s. That's all gone now. But ultimately it's this whole thing where I'm looking around going, oh, you guys have all lost your mind. Right. Like it's all, we got a lot of people watching. Hello. Dragon Ball Z fan. Welcome, Jackson. Jasu, sure, that's a name.
Josue,
wow. Nam, hello, Jimmy. Eaton. Baby boomers, we messed everything up. See, this is the thing: is baby boomers like there's 3 generations before like of process, right? So one generation makes stuff, second generation tries to hold on to it, third generation just pisses it away. Okay, this has been the natural order for the majority of existence through time. So you have the silent generation, which had bigger problems to deal with, right? Yes. It was like, I don't have a toy. Be like, try not to get shot, you little shit. Like that was.
Yeah. So yeah, for silent generation, for people who are like, when did that happen? That's between the greatest generation who fought in World War II, and the boomers. So they're in the middle where like their childhood is during the Great Depression and World War II. Kind of a hard time to be a kid, I think.
It's not. Yeah.
And then like their parents are like, fucking get out of here. I'm like trying to make sure we don't starve to death, you know?
Like, and you got to remember too, is those kids, like the one who got like, I got a red wagon. Perfect. You can use it to pick up scrap metal for the war effort. That's not a fun time for a kid. I'm just like, it can be, but you know, it's a weird thing. It's a weird experience, right?
Yeah, whereas for the greatest generation, they would have been like in their teens and 20s when the Depression and the war happened. So like for the Depression, they're like kind of becoming people just as everything goes to shit. And then they're like, okay, go, harvest scrap metal, but you're like 15, so you're like, okay, whatever. This is just my job.
Also, but if they were 15, there's a good chance that they were lying and trying to sign up for the war effort, which you're like, that's
the war doesn't kick off in the US until 1941. So you have like 2 years there where it starts in Europe, and then the US is just kind of sitting there. We do like lend lease and stuff like that, but we're not like fully like putting into the war effort.
Yeah.
The
US.
I don't know why we're talking about silent generation. Fuck yeah.
Well, Jackson asks, "Do you play Fortnite?" No, but I did just purchase the new Doom, and that I'm going to start streaming because apparently it's awesome. Thanks, Dragon Ball Z, and you guys are gay. You're gay too. Thanks, Flaming Ravens. Really appreciate you. I think some of the kids now are messed up. No attention span. Always needs to be gratified in some way. My wife hates young people, apparently.
We'll get there, Victoria. We'll get there.
See, this is the thing is though, but adults, same thing, right? Like a lot of people want to say that there's this massive division between generations, whereas I think it's more a generation, like a separation of the dumbs and the smarts. It's the poors and the riches. Like it's not as the poors are the worst, bro. They're the worst because a lot of the time, like you'll find a smart poor and you're like, oh man, they're great. They're so good. And then they're like, I can't do this anymore. I got to go sell drugs. You're like, why would you do that? That's a stupid move. Why would you be so stupid? You're supposed to be smart.
I find a smart poor and finally I can engage in conversation, even though that they know that they are lesser than I. The smart poors are pretty dope though. I can't relate, unfortunately. I am a dumb poor, so that is my class and that is where I choose to contain myself.
Yeah, but you're a charismatic poor, which is almost as good as a smart poor.
That's true, but I can't convert that to class movement.
You guys are making this sound like it's D&D. Like I put all my skill points.
Yeah, I put all my skill points into like charisma and speech, and I did none into economics. So now I'm just like in this weird spot.
I think if people understood the rules of D&D a little more in depth, they would understand how to not be a retard on the street. Like it's a lot, man. It's a lot because you're like, listen, I'm going to invest in education and zero charisma. They're like, yeah, no one can talk to you because you're insane, right? They're like, okay, so I'm going to do a little less on the intelligence, and then I'm going to throw in a little charisma. So every once in a while, I got a zinger, and people are like, he's not bad. Every once in a while, he's got a zinger. It's okay, like. Those rules apply to life.
We just live in this crazy society where there's a bunch of chaotic neutral kobolds just running around the streets. Just like, what do we do? What do we do?
All right. I think now is a good time to get into our first article.
Right, so what do you guys want to know? We're going to start with Gen X then? Is that what we're doing first?
Gen X. Yeah.
So a lot of the things that are listed here, like it was, and we were talking about this before you showed up, Caleb, before we started the show, was how like a lot of the stuff that like started getting rejected was with Gen X. So one of the big things that I noticed here in this kind of AI pull up was explain that the term slacker was first used for Gen X. Like they were the first ones where it's like fucking slackers not doing their thing, and you're going, because up until the boomers, right, there was a set process for success. You're like, you do XYZ, you get ABC, you're good to go, right? Like that was it, right? Don't steal, you'll be respected. Be trustworthy, people like you. Be hardworking, people will reward you. That stopped, right, for Gen X. And they were like, oh, because remember, that was around the same time that unions started being attacked and things. People stopped being compensated for their trust and loyalty. And then everything kind of went out the door, right?
So this is like in the 90s, right? Like
it would have been even earlier. It would have been like in the 80s as well, right? So like young, like early Gen Xers and late Gen Xers just got a shitstorm of it, right? The only advantage they had was and remember, there was a lot of boomers who weren't, like they weren't smart, but they did all the stuff, right? Like I personally had clients, I remember, who were now in the process of gifting their kids their children homes, because they had just worked at their job, got rewarded, used the money, bought more houses, and they just did what they were supposed to do. So now they had this empire of properties, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to help my kids. And those kids were functionally not equipped to deal with a conversation, let alone workplace, right? So you had all these people who are like, now I have $1 million home, and this is $1 million home in the 90s, right? Which is now like a $2.5-3 million home with like land and stuff, like in the city.
This is through the 08 crash too. Where
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's this whole idea where like a lot of boomers, like a lot of boomers had kids and didn't understand that, oh, you have to be supportive of your kids. And then the ones that were supportive of their kids, those people, that was me, had a great time. You're like, oh, this is the best, you know? It's like, oh, my parents helped me with my first down payment for a house. Hey, if something happened, I'm like I got a brand new car when I turned 18. Why? Because that was for my dad, for him, that was an achievement. He's like, showing how I help my kids is an achievement on me, right? But then you had other people who were like, nah, good luck with that. You're just gonna die a loser. And you're like, that's not helpful as a parent, but that's what they would do, right? You damn slacker in your video games. And you're going, oh, apparently that's an entire industry that if you got in early, you could be a king right now. So like, and it also goes through like a lot of okay, I'm going to read this out because it's traditional music formats is what it was called. It's under cultural shifts and transformations. So AARP Arrow states Gen X is often credited with the Reese's peanut butter cupification of pop and hip hop, meaning
what
they
the
embrace.
Fuck are you talking about?
I've never heard that terminology.
Neither have I. And I'm like, what is that? So
this is for people listening or people watching. If you want to read the full articles, I'll have them in like the description or the show notes. Yeah. You can go check them out.
This was Google AI pulled up an overview of all of it. And essentially just brings up quotes. So this quote is actually from, let me see here. I don't know. Anyways, so it's if you just put in what did Gen X kill, it just comes up with everything. So the cultural shift, it says they embraced a more diverse and inclusive approach to music, moving away from the rigid genre boundaries of previous generations, which is true, right? And also too, it was the whole sudden influx of let me see, online culture and creating blogs and online communities, and it laid the groundwork for today's social media landscape, which is a complete and utter nightmare. Let's be honest, right? Also, too, like there was a big thing where, and actually, I'll be honest with you. So I'm going to a music festival later, I think this month, and I'm like, I don't know why we decided to do this because I really want to see it, but at the same time, I'm like, is there a chair? Is there going to be somewhere I can just hang out? Because I don't like being around people much.
Not any festival that I've been to, but hey,
and that's
maybe you just like pop a squat and just like kind of, you know, take a couple of fat doinks like in between people's kneecaps or something. That's what I do at festivals.
I mean, like I become a boulder. That's the problem. If I squat down like that, people are like, "Hey, look, it's a table." I'm like, "Nope, it's just I'm a person. That's rude." So it's one of those things where, but that's the other thing is that like. Music festivals weren't like they were around, but they were kind of like few and far between before Gen X. And then now it's like that's a huge thing because literally every weekend we have a music festival during the week, like a school night. What are you talking about? And that's also because you're like, oh, that's because people work day in, day out every day. There's no day off for everyone. Everything sucks, right? So now you have it. People are just like, yeah, there's a concert every day of the week. Just, you know, and also one of the big things was comedy. It helped create alternative forms of comedy and experimental styles of comedy. And I'll be honest with you. So like the new Naked Gun came out and Victoria's like, I've never seen it. And I'm like, oh, so we just watched the first one and now we're halfway through the second one. And she's laughing her ass off. And I'm like, yeah, because it's hilarious, but also
Tell me what she thinks when OJ Simpson shows up.
She doesn't care. She's
what is she gonna say?
She's like, oh, that's that guy.
That's the guy that really likes Ford Broncos.
Half of the time when we watch movies, it's hey, that guy, because we don't know who it is. You're like, it's just a face that we know, right? So yeah, no, it was like watching it, you realize that you're going, Naked Gun wasn't just like, it's a bunch of slapstick humor and puns and plays on words. It still has a plot, which I'll be honest with you, a lot of movies don't right now. Like where you're going, I don't understand what's happening. Like, what are you guys doing here? This doesn't even make any sense. So it's like, yeah, Victoria says, I say that a lot. Hey, that guy. Yeah, that's fair. Little fish, you need to repent for your sins. Yeah, so do you. You need to grow up. I think you need to grow up. That's what she said. Baby boomers should be Generation W, the first baby boomer president. I mean, it's not a bad vibe. People would see Dino and panic because there's a I'll be honest with you, that's not the first time. I've been led into places to be like, oh, security goes over here, and I'm like, I'm
just here. Yeah,
I'm just hanging out. And they're like, you're not security, and I'm like, are you hiring? They're like, well, no, that doesn't work that way. I'm like, okay, well then why are we having this conversation? Leave me alone. But yeah, so like Gen X, this is the problem, is that Gen X had this weird divide where people whose parents weren't dog shit had a great time growing up, whereas a lot of people, like, that's when parents started to turn dog shit, right? There's a lot more divorces, there's a lot more separations, there's a lot more situations like that where, like, and I don't want to say that, well, because people weren't shunned for their decisions, it became embraced, and you're like, no, that's not really true. Is more so people were just like, all right, whatever, just keep on living, and you're like, that's fine too. But then it resulted in that, like, kind of a norm where a lot of people just kind of were like, well, that's just how it is, and you're like, it wasn't always like that, right? Like the idea of a lot of things kind of just there being, maybe, I don't want to say so far as there being a hierarchy or a moral code that everyone kind of started to disappear, at least when I was young, where people are just like, no, some people are just dog shit, and you're like, oh, they have no principles. You're like, nope, not a one. You're like, oh, all right, and you just move forward, right? So it was a weird time for sure, but like, and also I tried to look up articles, I'll be honest with you, Atlas, and the only article that I came up with was, people may hate Gen X, but they'll never hate Gen X as much as Gen X hates Gen X. And I'm like, that's also like
accurate. Yes,
more accurate. You're like, yeah, you can hate me, but I hate me number one. Okay, you can be number two, but number one is this guy. So yeah,
I think basically what you were saying is like, how exposed to lead paint were you? The level of
did you leave it on the wall, or did you take it as chips? You're like,
no,
so it's a nice snack,
No fault divorce became legalized in the 70s, which means that I think there might have been just like couples where people wanted to leave each other and couldn't if you were the woman, and then now you're able to. So the whole like half of all marriages end in divorce was true at the time. But now, when people say that nowadays, they're wrong, because the statistic is somewhere closer to a third, which is like a lot better.
And it's significantly higher for, like, so people who are second marriage, it's higher. Third marriage, higher. And you're like, listen, bro, if you can't get on the second try, marriage isn't for you. It's fine. It's fine. There's still a lot of ladies out there that just hang out
2 and 3 times respectively, going great.
That's just going really well.
Yeah. You're the oddity where you're like, I'm married happily, and be like, oh, okay, well, disgusting. How dare you?
I am incredibly happy in my marriage, but like, I could still fuck it up. That's like,
it could happen.
Hey, we just celebrated 10 years. Trust me, you can always fuck it up. There's no.
That's sitting on my shoulder, being like, you have to do better than your parents. Don't fuck it up. We're like, just try to be a good husband.
But this is where I really believe that there's a separation is not, it's more the smarts and the dumbs and the riches and the poors, right? Because you have a smart person says, well, I want to be better than my parents, right? And a smart parent is like the only one person I want to be better than me is my kids. Like that's a smart parent who's like, yeah, I want my kids to be better than I am, right?
Yeah.
Whereas now people are like, well, you think you're bad? You think you're awesome? No, I could have done that. And you're going, what? You should be supportive of your kids. That only makes more sense, right? So it's that's the difference is you can stand there and going, well, I want to be a better husband than my dad was because, well, I saw all this crazy shit and I think I could do better than that. That's a very reasonable and good goal to have in your existence, right?
Thankfully, the bar, just to kind of insert my own little anecdote here based on what you guys are talking about being better than our parents, the bar for me is in hell. Thank God. I just have to like take a little step to be better than my dad. Like if I don't move to the middle of the Pacific Ocean and abandon my child, I'm good to go, dude. Man,
I mean, but you could move to the middle of the desert.
Okay, so he's either dead or he's on a boat somewhere.
He's on an island.
Oh,
he lives on an island. Specifically Maui. he pieced out. I was like 3 years old. He's like, fuck this. I'm gonna go live in fucking paradise, dude. What do you think I'm gonna do here in cold ass Denver? Are you kidding me? The islands are out here, so I'm out. I'll see you later.
You know, when you said it like
kind of fair enough.
When you posed it as like he just went in an island in the middle of the ocean, I was like, oh, is he in jail or something? You're like, no, he's in paradise. You're like, oh, that's so much worse. A son of a bitch. You know?
And also, yes, he was in jail on the island as well, which is crazy. It's kind of an oxymoron. Like, imagine
he's not Alcatraz
somewhere as beautiful as Maui. Like, that's tough, dude.
I explained this yesterday. We went we have a bakery that's close by. It's just top tier, not so sweet stuff. It's really well made. And I walked in and they were like, and I was all positive, and they're like, why are you so positive? I'm like, bro, can you imagine somebody walking in this bakery and having their face down to the floor? Like, what an asshole. And they're like, well, we do that. I'm like, yeah, but you're working here. That's not the same. You're just showing up for the job. I'm visiting a bakery and buying sugar. It's not the same. We're not having the same experience, right? And they're like, oh, that's a fair point. You know? Yeah. Radioactive lead paint. That's the good stuff. That's when you knew your parents really wanted to make you happy. They had radioactive lead paint on the walls.
Yeah, you could put a little like black light to your chest and then you start lighting up like a star chart, dude. That's how you know you got that good shit.
Victoria says, I thought his dad would be a Bond villain who lives in the middle. That's exactly how I was like, did your dad become a Bond villain? Like, how is that? I'm like, I feel like that is a hard,
not as cool as a Bond villain, but like villainous. You know what I mean? Like kind of like D.
Now that I've abandoned my young child, I can begin my goals of world domination.
I can start a tour company and abuse my wife. Like that was the dream, and you know what? He lived it, and that I can only respect that.
That's the Gen X version of a Bond villain. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna bounce on my family. Move to paradise and just be all cool, man. Yeah, maybe go to prison. It's cool. It's in paradise. It's okay, no problem.
I'm in prison in paradise, baby.
Yeah,
and I know that there's like more discourse about generations as like we've gone on, where most of the time when people like bring it up, it had been like a one-off. So like during the South Sea bubble in the UK, to like the South Sea generation who were young when this bubble popped and like everybody was poor. Or like the lost generation who came back from World War I and were like, I don't know what to do with myself. But like since the boomers, it's just kind of gone on. We're like, all right, we're just keeping track of this forever, and because of that, this show exists. So yay.
Yeah. So who started them out first? Caleb, you should start telling people that your dad started the Maui Fires.
I'm going to start telling people that my dad started 100%. The Maui Fires. He was a prison escape attempt gone wrong. 100%. He needed a diversion, and it ended up being like mass destruction. But sometimes it's what it takes, I guess.
I feel like that's pretty reasonable.
My dad started the Maui Fires.
He was in the location. He's on camera. I can't say definitively, but I suspect it.
It's just like a shot of like a Sasquatch looking motherfucker with like a fucking bic. Just
you meet Jeanette McCurdy in real life, and then you're like, she's like, I'm glad my mom died, and you're like, oh, I'm glad my dad's dead too.
Horrible. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Man. All right, so you want to move on to millennials?
The millennials, yeah. Start with the do the relationships one last. Let's do the fabric softener one first.
Okay, what the hell is going on with fabric softener and Millennials? Is this a Tide Pod situation? What am I looking at here?
That's you guys.
That's why I was confused.
Yeah, so I was looking up like all the millennials killed this, millennials killed that, because that started in like the early to mid 2010s and just kind of never stopped. And I was like, what it would cause me to feature it on this show? Basically, did the website be a huge pain in the ass to navigate? If it was, I left, which is a really sad reason to pick this stuff. But I thought I would try and run the gambit between like I picked a food one, I picked a like things the boomers like one, and then I picked a like completely out there one. So I feel like that covers all the bases. So starting off here, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Millennials are fine without fabric softener. P&G looks to fix that. I'm not going to read the full article, but basically it's like millennials don't like fabric softener because why don't they like fabric softener? Ooh, woo. The boomers used it. Everybody should be using fabric softener. Fuck your fabric softener. Because not only do you not need it and it's bad for the environment, it makes your fabric worse at being fabric. It makes your towels less absorbent. Why would you need that?
That is the most aggressive statement Atlas has made in months. I'll be honest with you. And it was against fabric softener, which I'm like, I preach. That's fine.
Procter and Gamble can suck my whole ass.
My
fabric softener.
Yeah, my wife was like, hey, do you think that should be dry cleaned? I'm like, if it can't survive the washing machine, it's not clothes for me. It's that simple. I need durable clothes. Okay. If it needs to be hand washed, I'm not wearing it. Okay. I'm wearing it once, throwing it in the washing machine, and then it's going to be pieces. That's fine.
I got like a Jackson Pollock painting going on my wall there of water. It came out my nose.
I mean, that's fine. Fabric Softener has made Generations X.
There you go. Good job, Jim. That's a good one.
And now we've reached the crux of the issue.
Basically, there seems to be, at least in like this era of journalism, where it's online, they're losing funding, they need a way to like fill airtime if they're doing this on TV. So they just look for things that like a new generation doesn't really like to do or like to use and treat it like it's the apocalypse. Because have they considered that possibly people not doing this sort of thing is a good thing?
Hey, without fabric softener, people have to buy less clothes, putting our third world slaves to the Jim.
Totally.
Yeah, like, hey, it's this whole idea that like the assumption is if it's for sale, it's probably useful, and that's gone. Because there are a million things that, number one, you can't buy that are useful. A million things that are readily available with commercials on TV thrown in your face, and you're like, I don't need this. This is useless. Why am I like body wash? No, we had soap. Body wash is gross. Okay, it leaves a weird film on your skin. It's nasty. I don't understand what people don't get about it. And people are like, I get body wash. I'm like, you're disgusting. You have a layer of nasty on your skin. It's horrible.
So like for people who haven't used fabric softener before, because you're saying basically it makes the fabric soft, but it leaves like a waxy buildup over time.
Ew.
And reduces like the ability to just be a fabric, like stuff rips easier, but also it reduces its absorbency. So like if you use it on your towels, for example, they just stop being towels after a while. And are just like, I do this for the aesthetic of rubbing a towel on me. I'm not absorbing any water.
I'm so happy that my wife is watching this right now, because this just makes me happy. Because she's like, you have to put
horrible.
No, she's like, you have to use fabric softener. I'm like, why? It's fabric. If it's soft, it'll stay soft after you wash it. And she's like, no. I'm like,
oh my god! Wait, I caused marital strife to my.
Oh no, not with me. So I'm just standing here going, hey, maybe we should try a couple loads without fabric softener. Apparently, it ruins clothes. Just give it a try. See what happens.
Victoria, when this episode comes up on like your RSS feed or whatever, the link will be down there. Also, Dino has it. Get it from him.
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure I send it to her. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Great. Fantastic.
Also, make sure to look it up on desktop, because when you look it up on mobile, it'll be like, oh, there's no ad blockers on mobile. I can do this all day long.
Well, I'll say I've tried to pull up the article just to kind of get some context and see what we're talking about here. And the Wall Street Journal has put it in paywall jail, and they said they won't release the files until I give them $100 a week. So, unfortunately,
which is ridiculous.
I managed to find it because ad blocker, and then it's like, we noticed you're using the ad blocker. Would you like to turn it off? And I say no, and then it let me keep going. So
yeah, the Wall Street Journal has the Epstein files, but I need to give them money before they will put them out to the public. So unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to stay in the dark on this one for a while.
Okay, yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Is like, why don't they use fabric softener? We like fabric softener.
Yeah, and no one's saying you can't use it, but why do I? I think this is one of the big things for between generations is like, well, it's good for you. You're like, okay, but you said it's good for you. I don't think it's good for me, so I don't want to use it. And they're like, but you have to because we said so. And you're like, no. That's where that stops. You can do whatever you want. As soon as you are trying to force me to do something, we got a problem, right?
If there's anything that, like, my dad was a doctor. If you would like to hear more about my dad, there is a playlist right here on our YouTube channel called The Aspen Chronicles, where he was a guest for 3 times. But he's a retired doctor, and he was telling me that, like, everything you learn in med school is obsolete by the time you leave. For example, nowadays they can do heart surgeries by, like, cutting open here and going in through the top instead of having to, like, rip open your chest cavity. And he was like, that is something that I could not imagine when I was an intern in the 70s. And now they're just doing that like it's science fiction. But to somebody who, you know, if you're a cardiovascular surgeon and you've been going in through the chest for 30 years, that might be a little hard to take to see that. You know?
Hey, you want to get a real trip? You should watch. There are videos of surgeons practicing by doing origami with their tools. It is the wildest shit you've ever seen, because the shit that they make, not only is it also tiny, it is magical. And you're like, oh, are they, what is happening right now? And there's like, and these 2 little fucking tweezer type thing. It's one of the things. I love this. Turns out the Epstein files were written on fabric softener. That's it. Also, fabric softener has caused many divorces in Canada. Also factual. And Victoria says an ad popped up just as you were saying something to me. So now Victoria will never know. She'll never know why you shouldn't use fabric softener. We can't redo it. Sorry.
Oh, well.
Just know that Alice was right. You should not use fabric softener. Now you know. Good.
But yeah, so yeah, that's just like there are some things where, like, people change the ethos of how people see the world changes, and that's it. That said, AI is fucking stupid, and I will be a Luddite until the data centers catch fire and burn because they don't have enough water to keep polluting to the surrounding area. I posted a TikTok where it was like I chugged a whole bottle of water, and then it kind of got away from me. Like, the comment section is like AI bros coping, and then just people dunking on them, and I'm just gonna let that go. Enjoy that.
Victoria says you guys should have a competition to see who can fold the tiniest airplane and get progressive. With my sausage, that's okay. That's literally my wife is like, hey, you want to see how fast my husband can lose with his giant sausage fingers? For the first try, just immediately. Thank you for your support, Victoria. I appreciate it. Dr. Novack, bloodletting is no longer used for eye surgery.
Okay, funny, but also, Jim, this is how you spell my last name. It's right fucking here in the corner. Drives me nuts. Like my students do this where they have to type my name in correctly to message me on Schoology or to email me, and then they spell my name wrong in the email. It's right fucking there. You already did it once. Drives me nuts.
I mean, let us know what's a pet peeve of yours, Atlas. Apparently fabric softener and spelling your name wrong. Jeez.
No, I don't think it's the fabric softener itself. It's the the high horse, like, hoity-toityness of it all for something so stupid. Let's look at the next one.
That's all right. The next one. I love this. Okay. So millennials are killing chains. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Millennials are killing chains like Buffalo Wild Wings and Applebee's.
Stuff
Good.
like that.
Good.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
Shot Applebee's a decade ago, so I'm glad we're finally starting to catch up.
I mean, like,
this one's from Business Insider for people who are curious, but
the idea of, like, okay, McDonald's as a franchise. And okay, so if you follow me on social media, everyone, you would have seen I was just on a trip. I went through Asia. We went to a few different places. Every place I tried a Big Mac combo because number one, I'm a Big Mac before Big Macs were Big Macs. That's a start. Number two is a Big Mac should be the same in every country. And I'll tell you this much, you know where it's the worst? Canada, the USA. Everywhere else is delicious. We screw the pooch. Okay. That's how you know franchises suck. It's just factual.
I can't wait to try a foreign Big Mac, dude. That's like
it's so good.
Yeah,
hey, number one, doesn't matter where you go, they always fill that goddamn thing up with lettuce. Like, you know, when you open a Big Mac and there's lettuce everywhere, you're like, why is there lettuce everywhere you go? Everywhere you go, there's lettuce everywhere on a Big Mac. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen. I'm like, I don't know why that's a consistent thing, but hell, the Big Macs everywhere else were delicious.
All right. So anyways, millennials are killing chains like Buffalo Wild Wings and Applebee's. Casual dining is in danger, and millennials are to blame. This was written in 2017, by the way. Brands such as TGI Fridays, Ruby Tuesday, and Applebee's have faced sales slumps and dozens of restaurant closures as casual dining chains have struggled to attract customers and increase sales. Quote, casual dining restaurants face a uniquely challenging market today. Buffalo Wild Wings CEO Sally Smith recently wrote in a letter to shareholders. So in a world where like, oh, capitalism, yay, and then like people don't want to go to your shitty chain restaurant, and then you ask the CEO why you think that happens, why aren't you asking the people who don't want to go to the restaurants?
They're not smart enough to have opinions. How dare you?
Yeah, have you considered that Applebee's is just garbage? Like, have we thought about that possibility?
I'm
seeing them just asking like
they don't even have a blooming onion. Like,
yeah, like they're just asking CEOs and not people who would be like the people who just aren't going to this. It's too expensive for the amount of food I'm getting, maybe, or the food I'm getting is basically just in a bag and microwave, which I can do at home for like $3.
Yeah,
or whatever the thing is that made people not want to go. And I don't want to prop up a corporation that is underpaying its workers. Any number of reasons.
Yeah,
to not go to this one. This one I don't have as much like sound and fury as I did with the fabric softener.
I mean, okay, but let's. This is the thing: is a restaurant used to be like a family enterprise, right? And to this day, if you walk into a Chinese place, okay, and the menus haven't changed since the 70s, and there's a little kid doing their homework at a counter, you're in for a fucking treat. I'll tell you that whatever you order is going to be delicious, okay? Whereas when you walk in and someone greets you goes, hi, welcome to Applebee's. How are you today? You're like, oh, I'm getting spit.
I have multiple pieces of flair on my overalls. Office Space joke.
I'm the host because I have the most flair. You're like, that's not an achievement. It's not a thing.
We beat our union representatives with a telescoping baton in the kitchen.
It's a horrible thing. Actually, you know what Victoria brings a big thing is Florida. So when we went to Florida, there was one thing where I'm like, I like a good burger. Okay. Like I said, I'm a Big Mac before Big Macs were Big Macs. Okay. And in Florida, the Burger King, I didn't try McDonald's, but the Burger King was a top fucking tier Whopper. And they also had frozen Coke, which was magical. Both of those things. Everywhere else, I did have Burger King in where? I don't remember where. I think it was in Thailand. I think it was in Thailand. It was okay. It was better than here, but it wasn't as good as Florida. Florida
had a Burger King experience that didn't end in diuretic regret. So it gives me some hope to maybe next time.
Diuretic, do you mean in reference to diarrhea or in like something that makes you pee?
Yes,
both.
Both taps, baby. Both taps were full.
We're open for business. Yeah.
Hot and cold, full steam. It was rough.
Because every poo-poo time is also a pee-pee time.
That's science.
Let's not forget.
It's
if there was so he says he means Buffalo Furry, but Buffalo Fury costume sounds anime as hell. I'm here for it. If there was a good Buffalo Fury costume, millennials would love Buffalo Wild Wings. There's a good chance. Yeah.
Jim says in Israel, no cheese on Big Macs. Then it's not a Big Mac. It's a Big Mick. That's horrible. Listen, if there was a McDougal's, I'd shop there too. I'll be honest with you.
The A is for lactose intolerance. And,
exactly. A lot of changes that put gross. Jamo time for ladyboys. Jamo, you know what? You're a bad person. I'll see you in hell. That's how Gen X deals with things. You're a bad person. I'm just gonna walk away. You know why? Because suck on it. That's fun.
That's something I've always liked about like where you have the like your boss is Gen X and like there's a chance that they could be like either do nothing. Like I got here because I just didn't do anything stupid for a long enough amount of time. Or you have the people who are like, I trust you to do your thing, but also don't be an idiot. Bye. Like
yeah. That's there's see, and this is the thing too, is that people like you can tell if a neighborhood is good in Toronto, at least if it's got a McDonald's and a Starbucks. Like those two, you're like, oh, it's a good place, right? But a really good place is when it has like privately owned burger joints and then like coffee houses that are actually good. And you're like, oh, that's a lot better. But then you're like, it might be gentrified.
I was gonna say, especially when those coffee houses and burger shops used to be low income housing. That's when you know that it's fucking so.
And it's like,
and if you hit one of the bricks right, you might get a little surprise.
If you go in the burger place and there's the really high silver stools and like it's not made of brick, but there's a little section of brick on the wall, you're about to get a burger for $18 with no fries and no drink.
Yeah, you're gonna get the most mid burger.
Don't go to those burger places.
Well, that was the worst. So I'm not sure if you guys remember when Five Guys first started, and you're like, okay, like you paid a couple bucks extra, but you got a really great burger. And now for a burger and fries, and they're like, well, you can just get more fries, whatever. I'm not here to eat fries. I'm here to eat a burger. They're like, it's like $27, and you're like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like that's not like, what are you talking about? That's insane. But that's the whole thing, right? Just people are like, it's whereas like I've gone to places where they're like, all right, you want a burger? I'm like, yeah. They're like, all right, let me just know if you want another burger. And I'm like, why would I order a second burger? And then you see the burger is tiny, but you're like, oh, but it's delicious. You're like, yeah, I need like 8 more. And they're like, yeah, that's no problem. Here you go. And I'm like, yeah, that's that you provided something unique through your establishment. Right? There is something to be said to be able to get a Big Mac anywhere in the world. It is a cool thing, but also I'd like to try, a regular burger. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Or even like just the experimentation. Like here's a regular burger, but also there's like some wacky shit we're trying. I love stuff like that.
If you ever go to Thailand, a cheesy ham pie, it is to die for. I'll tell you, I've said this more than once. It is like, because they have, like an apple pie you can get, or you can get a mango pie, which I'm like, oh, that's interesting, or a cheesy ham pie, which will blow your fucking mind. Damn. I had 3 in the airport after having 1 in like a regular place. I was like, I'm going to get 3 more just because I gave Victoria half of one. She's like, do you want more? I'm like, yeah. And it's just gone. Just like a black hole. Yeah. Cheesy ham pie was awesome. It's factual. It's just scientific fact. Anyway.
All right. Let's take a look at our last millennial one, and then it's Caleb's turn for Gen Z.
Oh, yeah.
So this one I think is the funniest to me because it's so absurd. Because like this arguably has continued for the Gen Z dunking years later, but also like I'll get to it. This one comes from She Knows, and it is millennials are killing relationships, and we should be concerned.
True.
Hey, honey, since we're married, I've apparently killed relationships as a millennial, and I guess we just aren't married anymore or something. I don't know.
You better hope she's not home, or otherwise she's going to kick down that door and beat the crap out of you.
And I will deserve it.
Yeah.
Quote, the hookup culture has been on the rise for the last several years as more millennials come into adulthood. However, now it seems to be threatening the most basic form of commitment, the relationship. While many might have thought hooking up was just a passing young adult phase, like belly button piercings or drinking Red Bull and vodka to stay up all night. Okay, put a pin in that. Experts are saying that it could be here to stay. Relationships and emotional commitments may simply be too much to expect from the, quote, want it right now generation. It's not entirely their fault, though. Many grew up in a world where technology made everything too accessible. They can maintain friendships with old camp friends living halfway across the world just as easily as they can order Chinese food at 1 a.m. via an online app. 1 a.m., my ass. Everything closes at 9 now. And now that dating app has been similarly technologically streamlined, arranging for a late night, no fuss rendezvous is no different. So basically, what this boils down to is like, well, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Bullshit. Like
it's not bullshit. That is factual, sir. The fact is that statement, while horrible, is proving to be true.
But what if I love the cow?
It boils down to millennials aren't being in relationships anymore, and when are they going to buy engagement rings? That was another article I considered, by the way. When are they going to buy engagement rings or plan million or several $1,000 weddings or divorce lawyers? Why isn't that going to be a thing? That's basically what it boils down to.
So this is the thing, though, is that so like all of those things of buying fancy rings, spending a buttload of money on weddings and all that kind of stuff. Yes, those are dog shit elements that are completely unnecessary. However, having a stable have you guys met a guy that is a full-on hoe? Like he's been run through.
Oh yeah.
It is so uncomfortable because you're like, don't touch me. Don't shake my hand. Just stay over there.
Yeah, it does.
It just sounds exhausting,
and a little exhausting for sure.
Yeah,
a lot to keep up with. I have to have a Rolodex in the year 2025.
It's weird. And that's why I'm like, listen, it's. And I love when people are like, "Oh, it doesn't affect men." Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's the amount of and like I don't want to seem like I'm some sort of a prude, even though I helped save myself from marriage. That's regardless of the fact. But it's like the fact that people have made it where it's no big deal. You're like, oh, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal to the point where I'm now second guessing like remember how like untouched tribes would see a camera and be like, no, don't take my picture. It takes part of your soul. You're like, that shit might be true. I don't know. Everything's getting weird. And I'm like, it's all of it. It's just proving factually that you're like, okay, because people are out there, like they have a good relationship. And then they're like, yeah, but I just need to get laid. So I ruined my entire 10-year marriage for just some sex. And you're like, you have children.
Happen. I disagree with what you're saying about like, one upside to be, the millennials and the Gen Z is I think there's less stigma on just like having not polygamy, but sleeping around or whatever.
That's not a good thing though. That's proven to be very bad.
To the point where we're living with roommates for most of our adult life until you live with someone that you're dating. Millennials didn't kill the relationship. We got into relationships because we love the person, but also there is a undercurrent of like, because what this article fails to cover is that millennials are kind of perpetually like living with roommates.
Yes.
It's too expensive to rent and live alone, at least at this stage in our life, in the early 2010s. And there's still the culture of like, get the fuck out of my house when you're 18, which is slowly dying off in the modern day because everything's too expensive. But the best roommate is your partner. So people will be like, I would love to get in a relationship where I love someone and then also we can split the rent or the mortgage.
So this is the thing is remember, there was a time when you would rent a room and everyone used one bathroom at the end of the hall. Okay. Right. So the idea of having roommates isn't this new thing that didn't exist, right? Of course. What is new is, we'll be roommates and maybe a little sex every once in a while. And you're like, no, that's not, but that's the thing is it's proven like just through results is that, 304 life, man, women, doesn't matter. Not long-term beneficial. Short-term, great. Long-term though, it can be a bigger issue. And that's why you're absolutely right is look, finding somebody that you love to be in a relationship with, fantastic. This is a great system. Okay. It's a lot harder. And also you have half of the population who are literally just standing there making stuff up and be like, oh, like, look, it's one of my go-tos. You laugh at it every time when I tell people like, oh, how'd you meet? I'm like, French Foreign Legion. And then I walk away. Why? Because that shit's hilarious to me.
It's such a good comeback. I use it myself too. It's great.
It is. If you ever want people to forcefully mind their own business, it is the greatest thing, because they're like, oh, really? And then they just start talking about it. And you're like, I'm going to go. Right. But that's that whole thing, is that it's never been easy to find someone you love and to spend time with them. That is it's a lot of work, and sometimes doesn't go anywhere. Right.
Yeah. And then also, like, we just got a comment that said, we see a lot of the latest kids comfortable not having relationships. Guess what? That's the same thing the article was saying 10 years ago, which means that this article isn't being like, it's real. They're killing relationships. They're just 21.
See, but I don't think that they're killing relationships. I think that they're ill-equipped and they don't have good examples of good relationships either. So every time that they say, like, think about it this way: if you grew up in a family where parents were constantly fighting and at each other's throats, or where you had siblings who weren't kind to each other, because look, siblings will be unkind, but then you have a parent who's like, hey, stop fucking around, treat each other nice, I'll kill you both. And you're like, all right, well, we're gonna pretend to be nice, right? So it's that whole idea where people have this idea. They're like, I don't want to have a family. Have you seen how dog shit these people are that are my own blood? Absolutely not. And because
I was one of those people too. Like, when, in my early 20s, where I was like, I just saw, I just had come out of seeing like my parents' divorce. I was like, I don't want to do that. And here I am 10 years later, and I love it.
Yeah.
So
you change your 304 ways, and you realize, this isn't for me. I want one person to love, and then that's it. It's fine. It's totally. Luckily, you caught it before you ran through, Atlas.
Totally. Yeah. All right. Let's do Caleb's.
Yes.
All right. What do we got
Who's
here?
first?
Which one?
So we've got, we can talk about this Gen Z stare thing, because I keep hearing people talking about it. And frankly, I think people are just having a hard time accepting that they are stupid and other people are aware of that.
Yeah. Or being called out on being stupid.
Yeah. So, like, from my understanding, because it's people basically complaining that, like, they're at Starbucks and then they ask for like something absurd or ridiculous, or they're being rude, or what other myriad of reasons that people would have to like have disdain toward another person. And then they're being met with like just blank, I mean, basically, they're just saying with their eyes that, like, you are a dumb person, and I don't even want to glorify what you're doing to me with a response. Right,
one of
now,
these, right?
Essentially, what's saying, like,
right, where like your eyes kind of roll back a little bit, and you have the half
eyes kind of, or you're just like blankly looking, like you're trying to calculate if this is a real human being in front of you or not. Like, there's no way this is a real person, right? Like, this person just said this to me. Like, this is happening right now.
But can we just give the examples? Was the first one is, I've been asked to make somebody's iced tea less cold. Okay.
How do you do that? Wait a little while. Darn.
Blow on it. I don't know what you want.
Blow on it.
Okay. The next one is even better. I've been asked to give them a cheeseburger without the cheese, but keep all the pepper jack of it all. I would jump the counter and start beating that person up. Okay. That is the most. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I've heard people say weird shit like that. And I just look at them going, what's wrong with you? And they're like, what? And you're like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? Because you're not making any sense. Right. At the same time, I had a friend who ate fruit salad and blew on it like it was soup. And I was like, did you just blow on your fruit salad? He's like, I wish you didn't see that. I'm like, well, that's going to live on forever. Sorry. Add more pepper. It's not. No. It's the pepper jackery. Okay. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I don't understand why people have a problem with this, or why it's like a phenomenon. Like, maybe people are just waking up to the idea that, like, young people are increasingly aware of how just dog shit it is, especially in like a retail environment. As someone who has worked I've worked at McDonald's, I've worked at grocery stores, I've had to interact with customers on a regular basis, and my girlfriend still does. And like some of the stories I hear are just like, frankly, I'm surprised like there's not fights happening every day with like some of these psychopaths.
Absolutely.
So I mean, the fact that you're just getting blankly stared at and is causing you to kind of stop and think like, maybe I am asking for something really stupid right now. I don't know why it's a thing. Maybe old people just need something to talk about. I don't know.
That's a fair conclusion, sir. What's up, Joey? Yeah, no, that's fair. All right. I am a firm believer that the Gen Z stare is people realizing that I'm dealing with an absolute moron and I don't know how to respond. No, it's not. It's definitely not
at all. It's literally just like, I bet you guys got the same thing when you were young, like in the 90s, where they're just like, these young people are giving me this, or like rolling their eyes a lot, right? And it's just like, it's just part of fucking being young. I don't know why they're like tying it to Gen Z. I did the Gen Z stare as a millennial like, I remember doing the, fine, whatever. Like, just, yeah, that's not new.
Now, here's something I do want to propose. That's not the Gen Z stare, but it could be more. Now, this is something that I experience a lot, and I have a couple of friends that also experience it. I don't know if it means that I have some kind of diagnosed mental disorder or if it's a generational thing. But when someone like says something to me, sometimes it'll take a good like couple seconds for me to register in my mind that something was just said to me. So like someone will say something to me, I'll be like, "What?" And then I'll immediately respond to what they said.
Yes.
So it's like, why are you asking me what I just said if you already like heard me? And it's like, well, I didn't hear you, but then I did hear you. It just like I had to load what you just said in my brain for a few seconds. And I think that could be a result of the constant brain rot. That could be something.
You know what? A lot of people do that. I've done it myself. I go, huh? Oh yeah. And just like, yeah, okay. I just got to catch up. But it's I don't think it's necessarily a brain rot thing. It's more so that people talk funny. And you're just like, that doesn't make any sense. You're like, hold on. Okay. Oh, yeah. I got it.
Could be. But it happens to me a lot. Like it happens like just normal people to ask me a question. And like the first pass through, I get nothing. Like someone will ask me a question or like say something to me. I need to hear it a second time almost every time for me to actually grasp what is being said to me. Yeah. Which is strange. And it is something I've noticed and I don't know what it is.
Listen, it's not the first time, and I'll tell you this much is that people say weird shit constantly, and I think it's also a chance that it's you realizing how heinous the shit that they just said to you was.
It could be
because also in retail, people say insane shit, right? They're like, "Hey, Can I get a cold drink but with no ice?" You're like,
"Yeah,
I guess I'll put it in the freezer." That's what makes the drink cold, idiot. And they're like, I'm not an idiot. You're deaf. And also, I think that pause of pardon or I'm sorry, what did you say? Is also you trying to make it so you don't, reach over, grab him by the hair, and just smack him down. And be like, hey, you need a reboot. Just.
But a lot of the time, it's also like someone will just be like, "Hey, man, I got a good question for you." I'm just like, "What?" And like, "Oh, I just got a quick question for you." I'm like, "Okay, go ahead." And then they'll ask their question. I'm like, "Wait, what?" And then they ask it again, and I'm like, I feel like I'm annoying this person so much right now. I'm so sorry, dude. Like, I have
even worse is just like people mumbling, right? Where you're just like, "Hey, I have a question," and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And they go, "What was that? What? Can I use the bathroom?" You're like, "Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Next time, enunciate."
Yeah. My problem is when people turn around, so they'll be like having a conversation, be like, "Yeah," so I tell him, "What do you think?" And I'm like, I didn't hear what you said. You turned around. And they're like, "You couldn't hear that?" I'm like, "No, sound was going away from me, not towards my face. It's just, I can't hear you." Oh, yeah. Joey says, "Put everything in one bag, but don't make the bag heavy. I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you where you stand." That's,
Why do I get the feeling that's like inspired by real life? That sounds very specific.
Oh, come on. Joey's out here just saying, imagine being retail during the lockdowns, telling people they had to mask. Yeah. That's exactly what was happening, right?
Hell, I worked at a doctor's office while that was going on. You would have people pissed. I'm like, this is the place where people do that.
Hey, Gregory's busting out some knowledge here. You will hear in your mind sound repeat from psychology. I forgot the name of this memory, but you do hear a second time. So just, there you go. You just got to stop and go, all right. That was Skinner's mom in the Simpson Alice, the one bag line.
All right, gotcha. That makes sense.
Put everything in one bag, but don't make the bag heavy. You're like, I can't. Yeah. What's your problem? Yeah. Anyways, I think the Gen Z stare, top tier business. Love it. And honestly, I think every generation should be and that's where I really think it's about the smarts and the dumbs and the poors and the rich. It's 100%, because when the poors are like, well, I'll just go on unemployment and never find a job, and the riches go, or you could start your own business, and they're like, what?
Then how much is it to start a business? And they go, oh, just this much of your dad's money. And then
just go ask your dad, dude.
That's not true. It's $37. You register the business and off you go.
Small loan of $1 million, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's capital, okay? It's just how the world works, you two. Yeah. All right. What's the next one here?
Something about which generation really wants to work from home. Hint, it's not Gen Z. I've been skimming through it. My immediate gut reaction is to call bullshit, because I know me and all my friends would be like, if we could just have a job where we work from home and like we just get paid to do like IT, that'd be sick as hell.
Right? Yeah. And I think that's propaganda, because every person in the planet who got like a year of guaranteed working from home is like, oh, I hope this never ends. I can do my work, do my laundry, get shit done, have dinner at a reasonable time, and then at nighttime I can go do shit.
No commute.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you don't have to spend like wear and tear on your car, gas, time spent in traffic, all that stuff. This came out in 2022. So this is after
100% propaganda.
Yeah, it's propaganda, because they had come like during 2020, they're like, fine, you can work at home because we gotta keep it moving, but also we can't be in the office. And then after this, they're like, what? People like it. But I'm paying all this money on like rent for an office. Like
this is just like a commercial landlord in a mustache, like typing out this article. Yeah. Like
the whole time one-handed because he's doing this.
How do you do, fellow workers?
Yeah. People who work from home are less productive. You're like, no, they're not. They're ultra productive, and if anything, they're having their best life.
No, they're more productive. Like studies have shown that.
Okay, but here, see, this is what I mean by the smarts versus the dumbs and the riches versus the poors. Okay. Telework here, it's okay for the first 3 to 4 years. No. I've been teleworking from 2015. Okay. It's nice to get out of the house and go to the office to see people. No.
Okay.
No, it's not. You know what? That's because you're the problem. Hey, you can get out of the house by working in your lawn and enjoying the sun. This is not, hey, I want to go see my coworkers. Your coworkers don't want to see you. You're part of the problem, Joey. Let's be honest. Okay. Because let's be honest, you say some heinous shit constantly. And your coworker's like, is this guy for fucking real? And you're like, oh, I can't get fired. I have seniority. And you're like, damn it.
Let's try some word association. Office pizza party. Fish in the microwave. Company softball league. If those 3 phrases didn't make you want to immediately punch a hole in the wall, you're the problem.
Hey, it's the same thing. Okay, I like hybrid environment, honestly. That's fine. But that's just because you have to get like, so this is what I've ultimately heard. Because I remember in the beginning of the pandemic, do you remember how many people were like, I hate my house. I hate my kids. I need to go back to the office. You're like, yeah, those are your kids and it's your house. Those are all you problems that you fucked up. And now you're going, oh, why is this all fucked up? Because you have to work at it, right? Yeah. Wanting a hybrid environment, it's an excuse to be separated and have things to do. Or you could create a family environment that you don't want to hate.
Yeah, and like what really made me sad was you had like some people, like people who were living in bigger cities.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want to move where my community is, and they moved to smaller towns or like back in the same town with their family where the rent was cheaper, but they were still getting paid that same amount. And then they were like, you have to move back here or just like lose your job, or people responded differently, but it was just really sad where like people were starting to. There was like a collective catching of everyone's breath of like, holy shit, I don't have to be in this constant treadmill of capitalism. And then, people all reacted differently of like how they responded to the return to office thing. But stuff like this, the propaganda of like people love working in the office.
Oh, yeah.
The children yearn for the mines, and the Z's yearn for the
okay, the children do yearn for the mines, though. That is a fair point. Let's be reasonable here. Yeah, hybrid is good. Sometimes there are things that you can only do. Listen, and that's fine. Like, go into the office, have a meeting, and then go home. Because listen, that now if you have to have the ability to, I gotta go into the office for a meeting, good. Now you're not during rush hour traffic, it's midday traffic. You've eliminated one of those big issues, because look, the whole idea is we need massive highways and all this stuff just to satisfy 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night where everybody needs to go somewhere. Or we could just, spread it out and suddenly we don't have issues. I don't know if you guys remember driving on a highway like during the first 2 weeks to flatten the curve of the pandemic. It was the greatest experience you can ever have, because you're like, there's 8 lanes and 4 cars, and you're just like, I can wave, go in and out. It's the most enjoyable thing. And you're like, yeah, and it's all gone now. Now I'm okay. For years, I've heard people in LA and Atlas, I'm sure you've heard this, was that, LA is an hour away from LA, right?
Yeah. There is no distance only time, right?
Right.
It's not 5 miles away. It's 45 minutes away. It's 20 minutes away. It's whatever. Right.
So in Toronto now, Toronto is an hour away from Toronto, and you're going, and early in the summer, I went to Cleveland, and they were like, yeah, we got bad traffic. I'm like, you guys have no idea what traffic is. Okay. I can drive, and people were like, oh, you're going to have to press on the brake a little bit because there's a little bit of congestion. Bro, I was stopped for an hour and 45 minutes one day, and it's just some guy who's like, my car broke down and I can't push it out of the road because I'm 4'2". Like, what the fuck? This broke. Get help, something. I don't know. Call a tow truck.
He has a car seat, because 4'9" is the magic number.
He did have a car seat. It was also a very small car. It was weird. He had those extender pedals and everything. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
What was I going to say? So, earlier in the summer, I did a little experiment. How long does it take me to go from my apartment up here in the San Fernando Valley to LAX, which is south, very south? Yeah. Because they just recently finished a stop on the train, and door to door, me leaving my apartment to getting to the stop at the airport, an hour and 10 minutes. And if someone were to drive from the San Fernando Valley to LAX, it's 45, 50 minutes. That's pretty worth it, in my opinion. I didn't.
You don't pay for parking. You don't pay for parking. Gas. Is the subway or the train, whatever you're using, is it accommodated for if you have luggage and stuff?
Yeah, they have spaces where if someone has a bike or something like that. So yeah, you can do that sort of thing.
Pretty reasonable.
Recently, they've added a lot more security personnel. So the riffraff or whatever people complain about is just less.
Just call them the poors, you want to.
Shut up. And then you don't have to worry about driving. You're not focusing on driving. You're just sitting there on your phone.
Yeah.
And then gas. You don't have to pay your firstborn to your friend to give you a ride to LAX. Or you don't pay $60 for an Uber. I think it's pretty worth it. So, yeah. Let's look at the last one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right.
You better have a bunch.
All right. What is this last one? Oh, more likely to report mental health. That makes sense. Just reading a headline. I'm like, yeah. I feel like most people my age, we tend to be pretty in touch with our feelings for the most part. Not really afraid of speaking about those things.
Yeah.
Especially the things that are bothering us, because there's a lot of that. So there's not a whole lot else to talk about sometimes, because the weight of the world is just kind of crushing down on us at all times. And we're being constantly told that hey, if you want to buy a house, no, you don't, because it's not going to happen. So,
yeah, I included this one just because it's a good thing. Where the Gen Z are really in touch with their feelings. I tried to look for evidence of them kind of dunking on Gen Z for doing that, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, because everybody realizes that we should have been doing that all along, right? I personally had taken mental health days where I'm I feel out of it today. I need to go home. And people are like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I need to go home. And they're like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I just can't be here. And every time that I did that, every time that I pushed through and stayed the entire day, The next day was dog shit. Every time that I went home, came back the next day, gangbusters. I got shit done. And it was, and you're like, listen, having a mental break, like it's the same idea, whereas like you need to take your breaks because, and you need to take a lunch away from your desk and all those kind of things, specifically because like, look, like a statutory holiday, Victoria constantly is like, what should we do? And I'm like, nothing. Okay. If the government of all horrible people, the government is the worst, and the government's like, hey, you need a day off, take the goddamn day off, do nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a you know, government ordained day off for the simple fact that, hey, everyone's been working like a dog. Maybe just take a little break, you know? Just
Katie is a big fan of what she calls rotting, which is what you're describing, basically.
Yeah.
He said in order for the activity to qualify as rotting, you need nowhere to be. Yes. So like there is no like, all right, I gotta get up in 30 minutes and do this. There needs to be some sort of media, a book, a movie, a TV show involved, and a video game. And you need to be not in like regular clothes, naked, pajamas, something like that. All three of those becomes rotting in her.
Yeah. You have your wiener out, or one tit hanging, and you're like, doesn't matter, I'm rotting, it's fine. And you just sit there, you're like, yeah. This was I'm a huge fan.
Have you guys read the book House of God before?
Mm-mm.
So it's about this doctor as an intern in the 70s, and my dad made me read it when I was a teenager, and I'm rereading it right now because I kind of want to teach it to my seniors. Maybe like I'm toying with the idea. And the introduction for the book, he's describing how hot his girlfriend is, but he's describing her body parts the way you would a cadaver. So he's comparing her to a dead body. It's a satire, right? So it's supposed to be sort of off-putting.
An American Psycho type
satire, beat. Yeah.
Not really. It's more like because he's he's traumatized by being an intern. So that's why he's doing that, right? Like he can't stop seeing.
I see.
The cadavers, yeah. But it's just like the sort of, or like when you're on top of a bridge and your brain says jump. I think that's the kind of thing he's having.
You guys,
but
mine says do a flip, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Same difference.
So that's what I thought of with like the phrase rotting and one tit out, like the.
No, absolutely. Well, okay, so. Gregory, you've been dropping heat. I love it here. He says the worst part about getting therapy because of your parents is you get better, but your parents never get therapy. So I had this thing,
that's a good one. Yeah.
It's a great one because like so often, like there's this statement where the idea is you never meet someone twice is because every interaction you have with them, they will be a different person, right? Because you have different experiences that are separate and so on and so forth. People change. And the fact is that some people don't. And those people, we have this comfort of, oh, they're close by or whatever. And, like their consistency is something that should be applauded. And in actuality, you're like, no. It's the same idea behind parents who are like, oh, they never deal with their childhood shit. So now they're just assholes. And that's when you have people going, oh, you just got to get used to them. You're like, no, I don't have to get used to anyone. Yeah. I could just walk away. Why? Like the idea of like so many people, this happens in my generation a lot, is people are like, oh, I don't have a relationship with my kids. They're like, they're crazy. And you're like, are you sure it's a them problem? Just, have you asked them why they don't want to deal with you? And they're like, yeah, I yelled at them. And you're like, that maybe don't open up with a yell and say, hey, I'm sad that we don't have a relationship. Like, what? What am I, gay? And you're like, that's not how that works.
Because like,
all right, sure.
Joey, who is Gen X, said something similar. We're like, some things in life you just gotta man up. Hate to say it. That's not. You're close.
Those aren't the same. Well, this is
okay. If you are able to process your feelings and your experiences in a healthy way, then you don't need therapy. Yeah. But just saying man up and that's not how you do
it's
it.
Not even. Like, but it's not close, even. But those are two different things, because listen, going to work day in, day out to provide for your family to a job you hate is manning up. Okay. Yeah. But doing a job that is killing you and still doesn't provide for your family, that's a mental health issue where you're going, hey, it's not doing all the things I needed to do, but it's also killing me. I need to bounce. Right. So that's why you're like, it's not that everything is about mental health, but your mental health and your physical health are two very symbiotic things. If you're not maintaining both, one of them starts to fall, right? So it's the same thing. Like I started doing stretches in the morning, right? And I've kind of fallen off of them, but I'm like, now I'm feeling tightness in certain places. I'm like, yeah, why? Because it's part of my physical health. I need to emphasize that. Otherwise, I start to fall apart. And this is a perfect example. You could have stopped with me. Have you ever read the book? No, I do not read books. That's the problem. That's the problem,
What's
Joey.
funny is that like that book, it was so influential. A lot of the lexicon, like a lot of the words from the book, like nicknames and stuff for types of patients, is now just in American medicine. So like a word Gomer was an acronym saying "get out of my emergency room," and it just means old people who are a huge pain in the ass to deal with in a hospital. Like if you watch Scrubs, they say Gomer, and it's because of this book. It's a good book. Get the audiobook, Joe. It's good.
Work smart, not hard. That's not a mental health issue. It's a common sense is a mental health issue, Joey. That's what you don't realize. Okay. And that's why it's disappeared, is because people completely abandon their mental health. And then you're going, why are these people who have no common sense?
Yeah. Ta-da! And I think for a generation like Gen Z, who I'm teaching the tail end of, and Caleb is at the front end of, you guys were kind of set up to fail, just like we were.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, maybe.
And
and he froze immediately. It's like, oh, come on. That's a valid point.
We're trying our best to like.
I don't know what shenanigans is happening with Atlas, but it is hilarious.
For the most part, we're doing all right, I think, especially given the structure that we exist in and the systems that we have to participate in through our choice or not. Especially just a lot of like, my friends and my peers and stuff, really like the goal has just been, especially because like the placement of the pandemic was especially weird for a lot of us, including people like me, because it happened in the middle of my college.
Yeah.
When I was going, and it just shut it down like completely. And then they waited like a long time to try and transition to online courses. But by then everything was just fucked. So that year was basically just a wash. At the school that I was at. And I have not been back to college since. So I've basically...
Yeah. And they're like, no, we're not giving your tuition back, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm not getting any of that back.
Yeah. And then for like the back end with students where like they're just regular schooling. Like right now I'm teaching kids who are in middle school when it happened. And like slowly that'll heal as like we get further and further. We're like, I was in kindergarten, whatever.
Yeah.
I bounced back. And then after enough time, just won't have been that kind of sort of issue. But like I do like a media literacy unit, and I asked my students like, what if you have kids, would you have given them the same freedom on the internet that you did? And they're like, fuck no, I'm not giving them an iPad. I'm like, okay. So we're seeing you guys like making an effort to not have the same sort of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because I think we're starting to really like come out of all these years of growing up with all of these things and like starting to really be able to take a step back and like, okay, what are the effects of all of this now?
Yeah.
Like with our like super plugged in nature to being online, especially for me, that's kind of manifested in like, I'm kind of terrified of social media now. I'm not going to lie. I don't engage at all anymore. I haven't posted anything in years.
Yeah.
I don't really, I can't remember the last time I left a comment on something. Like the idea of having like it's basically like exposing myself to like the entire planet is terrifying, and I don't want to do that. And I feel like a lot of my friends feel somewhat similarly, where they treat social media very much like an arm's length now.
Yeah.
Like they're not super deep entrenched into like engaging, but I still interact with it a lot in the sense of like I'm consuming a lot, but I don't really like pump anything back into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like it seems like you guys went back to the whole like crazy username thing, whereas by the time like for the millennials, like MySpace, Facebook, they're like, whatever, my name, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then like that's not good.
The only way I can exist online is behind an anime girl. Like that's the only way that I can feel safe engaging.
Bro, okay,
YouTuber generation, Dan. Yeah.
I find it hilarious how we have such different opinions on this, because for me, I'm like, I would use my name. That it's me. Why would it somebody else use my name? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I have such a unique name that you can't, like, unless you're in Greece, you're not going to find another Dino Bledsoes. This just doesn't exist, right? So, like, even the idea of hearing someone with my name, I'm like, what kind of fuckery is this? Like, I'll immediately be in shock, right? So it's that idea, whereas for me, I'm like, no. I also post constantly me just rotting with a tit out and just like, life, and I'm happy to do that shit, right? So it's such a different experience for all of us, right? That remember that 70s show, the kids became the parents. I mean, yeah.
I love that 70s show. That 90s show was okay. It was me.
I haven't even watched it.
I don't think it really had anything new to say. I had that one guy from that 70s show on my show. That is a very loaded question.
Which one? The one in jail? Or
yeah, I really hope.
Or one of the other ones that deserve to be in jail?
The Scientology one? No.
Yeah. Topher Grace and no, even the parents like kind of said some dumb shit. Topher Grace is the only one who got out squeaky clean.
And he's a weirdo. Like, you look at him, you're like, that guy.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you watch Spider-Man 3 and you're like, there's something deeply wrong.
Right? Yeah, this guy is, yeah.
You quit that 70 show for this? Whatever.
Yeah. And then all the other news comes out and you're going, oh, he was protecting his mental health, I guess. That's okay. I kind of get it. Yeah.
He was the smart one, actually.
Yeah.
He figured it out.
He was running from deviance. Oh, fair.
I guess the question is for people watching or listening, what's the dumbest article you've heard about your generation? Leave it in the comments below, or just say what it is. Millennials are killing this, Gen Z is killing that. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. Caleb, where can people find and follow you?
Nowhere.
Maybe on the street center, dude.
Find me on these
show up and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, you can come over. If you don't know where I live, we ain't talking. That's
I'm active in the local fighting game community. So if you like fighting games and you're in the Colorado area, Akihabara Arcade, Lone Tree Hub, all those kind of places, you can find me. But why do you want to?
Hold on. Caleb, are you saying that where you live has an active like arcade culture? Because sold.
It's evolved since probably what you were familiar with, like back in like classic arcade. But it is
Hey, there's an old school bar arcade that is here, and I went with my nephew, but he's only a couple years difference than me, and we showed up and I played NBA Jam. And I destroyed him. And he was just like, how are you still good at this? Because when we were young, I had it at home and I would just decimate him. But he was also a lot younger than me. So I'm like, whatever. And then now as old people, I'm like, my knuckles hurt, but I still just boom, shakalaka. It was great. It was the greatest thing ever.
All right. You can follow us at Generation Dan wherever fine social medias are found, or follow me at Atlas Novack. Novack, Jim, wherever fine social medias are found. I mostly do stuff about like having epilepsy or being a teacher, and a lot of that has musical references in there, including the AI one where I chugged the bottle of water. So check that out, or check out my other show, Nexus at Night, which is a weekly stream at 7 p.m. on Pacific on YouTube that is about trading card games like Card Fight Vanguard. So go ahead and check that out. How about you, dude, my good sir?
I'm busy rotting actively. I am basically like Frankenstein, just sewing on new pieces. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Let it fall off. I'll get a new one. No big deal. But yeah, that is my existence. I am as you can see, I got a new fancy desk. It does this. It goes down. It goes. Hold on. There, it goes up.
Oh, we got motion.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Which I specifically now have to start building Lego to make it have purpose. So that is the ongoing thing. I bought more Lego and more Transformers while I was in Hong Kong, which my wife was like, yeah. And then I still had to carry everything home. And I'm like, oh, this is not a good decision.
Nice.
But yeah, so I have a ton of stuff that I need to start working on. So follow me right here. There's Dino, the genetic marvel right there. If you can't read that, we're probably not going to be friends. So don't worry about it. But in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And when does this come out? Is on Friday?
Friday, God, what? August something. I don't know how to math. August 8th is when this comes out.
There you go. And listen, stay tuned. I have my birthday's coming up soon. You'll probably see me drunk on some social media, or who knows? I may just do a flip. We'll see.
Who doesn't want to see that?
I mean, listen, I'm an acceptable amount of fat for public environments now, so it should be entertaining. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everyone, and have at it.